everybody, welcome back to Three Sisters Homestead. Today we're in the kitchen and we're going to be making our loaded baked potato soup. So our ingredients are going to consist of potatoes, heavy whipping cream, bacon, carrots, celery, onions, garlic, some different seasonings. We are just with some onion and garlic powder. This is a mix of oregano, basil, and there was something else I put in this and I can't remember what it was. But basically this is just an Italian seasoning. Black pepper, salt, and some adobo. We can't make soup without putting adobo in it. And then we are going to put cheese in it as well. We're going to go ahead and get our bacon started first because we are going to saute our vegetables in the bacon grease. And we almost forgot to get this out, but then I remembered as I was telling you guys what ingredients we had. We are going to boil our potatoes in chicken broth, and this is going to be the soup base. All right, we have our bacon all cooked up now. So we are going to take this out and transfer it to a plate with a paper towel on it. As you can see in here, there is plenty in there for us to saute our onions, carrots, and celery. Now, kind of let some of it drip out. And there are a little bit of bits in there. We're just gonna leave those because it's all gonna go in the soup anyway. And that'll just add some more flavor as we cook those vegetables. This recipe is more of from our heads than from a recipe. We went off of the first couple times that we made this off of 2 or 3 different recipes, and now we're trying to figure out how much exactly we use. That way we can tell you how much to use. So we are going to do 1 cup of chopped carrots, 1 cup of chopped celery, and 1.5 cups of onion. And then later, if we feel like it needs more, then we'll add more. Oops. That is about 1 cup. I'll toss those in there. Then we're going to do about 1 cup of chopped celery. And 1 cup of chopped onions. And then we're going to do another half. So 1.5 cups. And I just made a huge mess. Like I've told you guys before, I'm not the cleanest cook. I'm a messy cook. So we're going to mix all of this up in that bacon grease. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic. 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. And that might seem like a lot because I did do heaping spoons, but go in to fill an entire pot of soup. And we're going to let these saute, and we're going to start getting our pot full of our potatoes. We have our big stock pot out. We are going to start with chicken broth. This is 48 ounces of chicken broth. We're going to add probably about 4 to 6 cups of water. We're going to start by adding 4 cups of water. You can just use chicken stock if you'd like, but since we're adding a bunch of spices, I'm going to go ahead and use some broth and some water. If we need more liquid to cover our potatoes, I will make some more broth because I do have chicken bouillon cubes, or we'll just add more water. All right, we are going to turn this on to about a medium heat, and we're going to work on getting our potatoes chopped up. Cheyenne already went ahead and started to chop some up while I was working on the bacon. So we're going to put these in. We're going to let this come up to a boil, and we're going to put just enough liquid to cover the potatoes. So go ahead and add these in. Let this start getting boiling. All right, as you can see, this is just enough liquid to cover up our potatoes. It is maybe half an inch over our potatoes. We are going to go ahead and stir these in, and we're going to add some of our seasonings. We are going to add about a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, but I'm going to do it over this in case I spill it. We don't want to get too much in there. Okay. Teaspoon of onion powder. And then this adobo, I don't think I can pop this top off. We're going to see. Shai's going to try to pop that top off. Wow. Here you go. Add a teaspoon. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, here you go. What did we do? We did all those.
All those.
Okay.
We need that.
And then I'm only going to add half a teaspoon of salt because I don't want it to be over salted. I've definitely done that multiple times in the past, and that's probably my biggest issue. I always over salt things. So we're just going to do half a teaspoon of salt. And then we'll taste it later and see if it needs more salt or not. But we are going to put probably a tablespoon of these herbs. Whoop. All right, and we're going to stir that all in and wait for it to come to a boil. Now our onions are translucent. We don't really want to cook it past that because we don't want them to be super soggy. So we're going to turn this off while we wait for that to boil. Okay, so our potatoes are boiling. They've been boiling for probably about half an hour, 45 minutes. We weren't really paying attention to how long it was. You just want to boil them until they are soft. So let's just get a couple in here. You're going to take your fork and just press on them. See if they start mashing and falling apart. So this is where you want them. We're going to take our vegetables and garlic and we're going to put it into the pot with the potatoes. Now I'm going to add some of it at a time because, like I said, I'm not really sure what the measurements are supposed to be since this is off the top of our head. So I'm going to add some of it, look at it, and then we'll see if we need the rest of it or not. Yeah, I think we're going to need all of it. Now we have all of our vegetables in there. We are going to add our heavy cream. So if you don't have heavy cream, you can use milk, or you can use half and half, but we are using heavy cream. So I'm going to start with 1 cup. I'm going to pour that in, and we're going to mix that in. And then as you see, while we're stirring it, the potatoes are starting to fall apart. And then we are going to add a handful or 2 of cheese in there. So she just pointed out that this looks a lot more yellow on camera than it does in person. All right, so now this is really gonna look yellow with our handful of cheese in there. And we are gonna add back in our bacon as well. Stir in that cheese and the bacon. Now we are going to hit this with the immersion blender just to make it a little bit more creamy and thick. We aren't going to blend this entire thing. It said in the recipes that we followed, one of them said to take about 1.25 cups and put it in your blender and blend it up and then put it back in here. But since I have this handy dandy immersion blender, we're just gonna hit it 2-3 times until it looks right to us. Maybe a little bit more. And if you want it to be a little thicker, you can add some flour. I'm fine with it being about this consistency. I guess it's up to you. Do you want it thicker?
A little bit
A
more.
little bit thicker. Okay, so we're gonna add just a little bit of flour. When we sit this down, we're gonna unplug it because we don't want that button to accidentally get pushed. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the broth and try to get as little chunks as I can. And I'm gonna take about half a handful of flour and a whisk. I'm going to just whisk in this flour. You see how thick that gets?
Like some assistance.
Yeah. She was checking on the cats because they're crying, trying to figure out who it was. So you see how thick that is now. Probably want it to be a little bit thicker. So try to add some more of the broth in there. We just want to make sure that this is not lumpy with that flour. You want to make sure all the flour is stirred in and there's no flour lumps. We are just going to dump this back in. We're going to dump this back in and stir it in. I'm going to mix that in really well so that it gets distributed through the rest of the broth. So now we are going to do a taste test for salt. I just recently had COVID, so my taste is not fully back yet. So Cheyenne is going to have to be the taste tester.
So it's terrible. We gotta restart. She can't have none.
Does it need any salt or more garlic, more pepper, anything?
I do feel like it's missing something though.
Oh no, I can't. Let me go have Corey taste it. Okay, so we think that it is missing some spices, so we are going to add some more garlic and stuff. I'm going to try to put some of the garlic juice in there. I just don't want to overdo it. We are going to add a little more salt, about another teaspoon. That's probably about half a teaspoon actually. So that's about a full teaspoon of salt then. Another teaspoon of pepper. Some more of our herbs, some more onion powder, probably about another half a teaspoon, just another sprinkle of adobo, and then we're going to throw in another handful of cheese. And we're going to mix all that in. So you can add more bacon. I feel like this needed a little bit more bacon because I can't really see very much in there. But the bacon is more of for flavor than it really is for anything else. But if you like a lot of bacon, add a lot of bacon. All right, give it another taste.
I need to try some soup.
All right, we ended up adding probably a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder. We didn't add any more salt than what you guys just saw, and probably another half a teaspoon of pepper, and another tablespoon of the water from the garlic, the minced garlic. And now the flavor's a lot better. So we're going to go ahead and dish this up. This is what we're having for dinner tonight. We'll probably eat this for lunch and dinner tomorrow too. If you guys would like to try this recipe, I will type it all out and put it in the description box below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.